Over 14,000 Palestinian lives have been tragically cut short, leaving behind countless grieving families and communities shattered by loss. And 3,000 Israeli lives have also been lost since the year 2000 alone, each life a story of dreams unfulfilled and families left in mourning. This staggering figure represents just a fraction of the human cost of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The toll extends far beyond the numbers, affecting the daily lives of millions who live in constant fear and uncertainty. For over 7 decades, this conflict has cast a long shadow over the Middle East. The roots of this struggle are deep and complex, intertwined with history, politics, and deeply held beliefs. It has fueled generations of violence, displacement, and mistrust. Families have been torn apart, homes destroyed, and entire communities uprooted, forced to live as refugees in their own land. Understanding this conflict is crucial. It requires a deep dive into the historical context, the political dynamics, and the human stories that often get lost in the headlines. It is a complex issue with global implications. The ripple effects of this conflict are felt worldwide, influencing international relations, global security, and humanitarian efforts. It demands our attention and a commitment to seeking peaceful solutions. The path to peace is fraught with challenges, but it is a journey that must be undertaken for the sake of future generations. Through dialogue, understanding, and a shared commitment to justice, there is hope for a brighter, more peaceful future for all those affected by this enduring conflict. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the world's most enduring and emotionally charged disputes. It has captured the attention of the global community for decades, drawing in countless opinions, emotions, and interventions from around the world. At its core lies a struggle for land, identity, and security. Both sides have deep-seated historical and cultural ties to the region, making compromise incredibly challenging. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim the same small strip of land as their rightful homeland. This overlapping claim has led to a series of conflicts, each more complex and devastating than the last. This conflict has deep historical roots, dating back to the early 20th century. The British Mandate period saw the rise of nationalist movements among both Jews and Arabs, setting the stage for future confrontations. Since then, it has been marked by wars, uprisings, and failed peace attempts. The Six-Day War, the First and Second Intifadas, and numerous peace negotiations, including the Oslo Accords, have all left indelible marks on the region's history. The international community remains deeply invested in finding a lasting resolution. The United Nations, world leaders, and various international organizations have all made numerous attempts to mediate and resolve the conflict. However, the path to peace remains elusive. Despite numerous efforts, the situation on the ground often deteriorates, leading to renewed violence and suffering for both Israelis and Palestinians. The hope for a peaceful resolution continues to drive diplomatic efforts, but the complexities of the conflict make it a daunting challenge. To understand the present, we must look to the past. The seeds of this conflict were sown in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. During this time, Zionist aspirations for a Jewish homeland in Palestine grew. Simultaneously, Palestinian Arabs sought self-determination in their ancestral lands. The British Mandate for Palestine, established after World War I, further complicated matters. It promised both Jews and Arabs a homeland in the region. This ultimately proved to be an unworkable proposition. The 1947 UN Partition Plan, proposing the division of Palestine into Jewish and Arab states, marked a significant turning point in the history of the region. This plan was a result of years of tension and conflict between the Jewish and Arab populations in Palestine, which had been under British mandate since the end of World War I. The plan aimed to create 2 independent states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem as an international city. It was accepted by Jewish leaders who saw it as a step towards the realization of a long-held dream of a Jewish homeland. However, it was rejected by Arab leaders who viewed it as an unjust division of their land. The rejection led to increased hostilities and set the stage for further conflict. The subsequent 1948 Arab-Israeli War, which erupted following the declaration of the State of Israel, resulted in a decisive victory for Israel. This war led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who fled or were expelled from their homes. The war also resulted in the establishment of armistice lines known as the Green Line, which defined the borders of Israel until the Six-Day War in 1967. This mass displacement, referred to by Palestinians as the Nakba, or catastrophe, remains a deeply traumatic event in Palestinian collective memory. The Nakba not only resulted in the loss of homes and livelihoods, but also in the fragmentation of Palestinian society. Many of the refugees ended up in neighboring Arab countries, where they and their descendants continue to live in refugee camps. Subsequent wars, particularly the Six-Day War in 1967 and the Yom Kippur War in 1973, further solidified Israel's control over territories such as the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. The Six-Day War saw Israel capturing these territories from Jordan, Egypt, and Syria, significantly altering the geopolitical landscape of the region. The occupation of these areas has been a major point of contention and a source of ongoing conflict as Palestinians seek to establish an independent state in these territories. Section 5. Shifting sands, recent political developments. Recent decades have witnessed a mix of diplomatic efforts and continued violence. The Oslo Accords, signed in the 1990s, offered a glimmer of hope. They established the Palestinian Authority and promised a framework for a two-state solution. However, progress stalled due to ongoing violence, settlement expansion, and political divisions. The Second Intifada, which erupted in 2000, further deepened mistrust and resulted in significant casualties on both sides. Section 6. Life under siege. The human face of the conflict. The human toll of this conflict is immeasurable. Palestinians in the West Bank face movement restrictions, checkpoints, and the expansion of Israeli settlements. Gaza, under blockade, grapples with poverty, unemployment, and limited access to essential resources. Israelis endure the constant threat of rocket attacks and terrorism. The conflict's impact on daily life is profound, permeating every aspect of society. "We just want to live in peace with dignity and freedom," shared a Palestinian teacher from Ramallah. Her words reflect the yearning for a better future shared by many. An Israeli shopkeeper in Jerusalem echoed this sentiment, stating, "Peace is the only way forward, but it seems so far away." These voices, filled with both hope and despair, underscore the urgency of finding a resolution. The path to peace is fraught with obstacles. Key challenges include settlement expansion, security concerns, the status of Jerusalem, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Despite these complexities, opportunities for progress exist. International pressure, renewed diplomatic efforts, and dialogue between leaders are essential. Grassroots initiatives fostering coexistence and understanding also offer hope. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has left an indelible mark on the region and the world. It serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of division and the urgent need for peace. While the road ahead is uncertain, the pursuit of a just and lasting solution must continue. The alternative, continued cycles of violence and suffering, is simply unacceptable. This conflict demands our attention, our empathy, and our action. We must amplify the voices of peace and justice. We must hold leaders accountable for their actions. And most importantly, we must choose love over hate, understanding over ignorance, and hope over despair. Let us work together to build a future where Israelis and Palestinians can coexist in peace, security, and mutual respect. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed and engaged on this critical issue.